Here on KELK Radio, we're so excited to feature our guest from Elko County Mybrary. It is our Mybrarian in charge, and Kassie Antonucci joins us to talk about all things Mybrary. In fact, Kassie, welcome. I guess it's the 1-year anniversary of the rebranding.
It is. It might not seem that long, or it might feel like forever, but we're just 1 year into it. As of August 5th, actually, was our launch last year.
Well, you've been able to accomplish a lot. We can maybe revisit that a little bit for folks who, there were some people in town, I think, for the 40th anniversary, or their reunions, class reunions, and people saying, wow, did you see the changes at the Mybrary? It's now Mybrary. And so let's just revisit that a little bit.
Of course. So looking back a year ago, just when we were starting, not sure how this was going to look today, we were really excited for all the community engagement and involvement we got just right from the get-go. The birthday party, the brand launch that we had last August, if everyone remembers, we did that big block party. It was a big event. Feels like the sun came out just for it because it rained the rest of the day. That was our most attended event in the 100 years our library has existed. We had 1,200 people show up during the 4-hour event.
That's a lot of love.
It was a lot of love, and we appreciated it so much, and we were so excited for it. So we recently met back with our consultants. They do continue to come to Elko and check out the area and stay, current with events because they're really invested in our community just like we are. And they wanted to show us what has actually changed, because when you're kind of in the middle of it, besides changing the name and the paint job, if you haven't been in the Mybrary recently, we do have some fresh paint. It's all new colors. It's like, well, what actually has changed? Have we done anything different than the last 100 years? And we have. We've been changing policies. We've been trying to be less strict on rules and more engaging with the community and making sure that they know it's their space. And the response that we're getting back is amazing. We actually gave, in this last year, we issued almost 2,000 new library cards, new patrons, new library cards. These aren't renewed cards or anything, brand new patrons coming in and saying, wow, this is amazing. We heard about the Mybrary. We had to come in and check this out, or we just moved to the area and this library is so much cooler than the library we just came from. So it's that, things like that. It's great to hear. And then on our part, we have doubled the programming that we've been able to offer. So we offered almost 600 individual programs in the last year for adults, youth, and teens. And we had 18,000 people attend those programs. That was just unheard of for us. So we're seeing the community engaging with us and the good things that are going on. And then we had almost 100,000 visits this last year of individuals that came through our door and just checked out the Mybrary.
Wow, those are fantastic figures. And every one of those visitors has a story, right, Kassie?
Oh, they do. We just got asked a question today. What is our average patron like? And I couldn't answer that because none of our patrons are average. Everyone's so unique, and they do have their own stories and their own reasons for coming into the Mybrary. It's always a fun and interesting day. You never know what to expect.
And they're as young as toddlers because, of course, among the most popular events that you host would be the story times.
Yes, story times is one of our traditional programs we have held on to, and we won't be changing anytime soon. We do that 3 times a week. We average between 80 and 100 people per day for our story times. I know, it's crazy. In the summers, we've added more. So we started doing our story times in the parks, and then our toddler story times on Saturdays. And then we worked with Endow. They came in and did special wildlife story times for the older kids in the afternoons once a month. And yeah, so story times are very popular.
A lot of collaboration and, again, a lot of love. People want to hear those stories. You want to hear a story read to you. That's kind of a magical thing. It's really a gift, right, to have another person read to you.
It is. It's nice to be able to just sort of sit there and enjoy the story. And everyone says, just you can read the same book. Every person's going to read it different, and everyone's going to hear it different. So it's always an enjoyable moment.
Oh, that's fantastic to know that all of this outreach is happening at your Elko County Mybrary and several branches throughout the entire system, because we should also mention, Kassie, that even though we're really focused on the Elko Mybrary at this point, the work goes on outside these city boundaries.
Yes, so I don't know if everyone's aware, we actually have 8 Mybraries throughout Elko and Eureka County. So any library you've been in Elko County, that's one of ours. And then we also have the Mybrary Mobile that travels all of Elko County and also White Pine County. We help with some of their spots as well. And we wanted to make sure that was part of this rebranding, is making sure we're expanding into those communities, making them feel the same love, that it's not just Elko's the headquarters, so every Elko gets everything. And so all of these numbers, the new library cards, the programs, that's across the board. We're offering more programs at all of our locations, and we're working with staff to come up with things for each community that's important to them. You know, something that's going to work in Crescent Valley might not work in Wendover. So we want to make sure that we're doing something for every community.
So you're responding to those communities. I'm sure you have friends of Mybrary in just about every location, right?
Yes and no. So we have 2 official friends groups. So we have the Friends of Carlin and then the Friends of Elko. And then we have created the Friends of Mybrary, which is any friends group or volunteer. Anyone can operate under this one name, and they can benefit the entire system. And I know a concern has always been, well, if we're raising money in Wells, is Elko going to take all of that? No. Any money that we raise for a specific branch, we make sure we spend on that branch, and it is all tracked. And you know, that community worked hard for that, and we want to reward them.
Oh, great. So if you're a patron of a Mybrary nearest to you and you have an idea for a friend raiser or fundraiser, get in touch with Kassie and her staff, and you can probably pull something off, right?
Definitely. We always appreciate new friends.
Yes. And speaking of that, the Mybrary Friends Group usually hosts Just Desserts and maybe trying to ramp that back up after COVID?
Yes. So this is a popular one. If you haven't been to Just Desserts, or maybe you're new to the area, this wasn't a big event. I think we had about 33 of them before COVID happened, and we had to stop. It made us sad. Where it's a 21 and over event. We serve alcohol, food, desserts. We have auctions and raffles, all kinds of fun times. And we have been working with the friends on getting things back in order, and we're looking at starting it up again next year. And we're looking at moving it. It probably won't be in May, because we know we always competed with Cinco de Mayo and some of the other events going on, the Kentucky Derby. So we're looking probably more in September, when there's maybe a little less going on. Things are transitioning over from summer into fall, and so we're trying to find that little golden spot so the community has something to attend to.
Oh, great. Sounds perfect, too, and it'll get us ramped up for the holiday season. It's always nice to glide in with desserts, right?
Yes. Yeah. So, the alcohol's great, too. We had someone stop by once. This is one of my favorite stories. He didn't live here. He was driving by on I-80, heard the radio announcement, Just Desserts going on, and said he had to stop by because drinking alcohol in the library made him feel like James Bond.
That is really funny. Well, we're glad we can pull people off the interstate to visit. And
yes.
It is Nevada, after all, sir. So, yeah, we have a unique way of getting our fundraising done sometimes. Kassie Antonucci is the library director of our Elko County Mybrary, celebrating at least 1 year now and counting of the rebranding. And it was a big summer wrap-up. I know that a lot of sponsors made a lot of reading possible, especially for youth who had a few weeks off for vacation.
Yes, so we did just finish our summer reading program, and we are so proud of everyone who participated in it. Everyone read about 800,000 minutes total is what we had this summer. It was a busy summer for reading. And we're always thankful. So we do have sponsorships. That's how we're able to do this every summer and offer the prizes and the programs and the picnic in the park that we do. So Nevada Gold Mines, they are the big part of the sponsorship. They give us $5,000 every summer, and that's how we get the shirts that everyone loves to wear. If you've maybe noticed around town some of the library shirts and even from, I've seen kids wear them from like 10 years ago. They're still out there.
They are still out there. I have seen them too.
And then Total Eye Care, they always host a wonderful coloring contest for the kids, and they always get so excited. We start getting hit up for that before summer even starts. They're like, where's the coloring contest?
Oh, fantastic. And then I guess Pizza Barn also pitched in, right?
Pizza Hut.
Oh, Pizza Hut.
Yes.
Okay, Pizza Barn next time.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, Pizza Barn's always a big supporter of the
yes,
library.
they are. Yes, okay.
But they brought back, if everyone remembers, maybe when we were younger, you could read 100 books and get a free pizza.
Ooh.
So they did something similar in that anyone who registered for our summer reading program, we were able to give a free personal pizza. They gave us 1,300 pizzas this year that we were able to give out to all of the kids in our community.
Oh, wow. So that is fantastic. That's a lot of brain power, 800,000 minutes of reading.
Yes.
A lot of little personal pizzas. Yes, yeah. Wow, what a great time.
So, I mean, it was exciting to see the kids come in and be excited about reading, and we increased our adult participation. So maybe not everyone realizes there's an adult piece. That one doesn't rely on minutes because we know after you're an adult, things get a little bit busier and maybe you can't read 800,000 minutes in a summer. So that one is actually just more book reviews, and we have raffles all through the summer that every book review gets you an entry into the raffle. And then we also have like little word searches and crossword puzzles that give you like little cutesy gifts. Or we had what we called sarcastic pins this year. So like, and I don't know if you've seen like the pins that are like, oh, you're doing a good job. And this one's like, it's not my job to care today, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Those were a hit.
Yeah, that sounds really popular. That's great, Kassie. Well, what fun. So very successful summer, and something else that you were able to do in your outreach of Mybrary, all those blood drives that you hosted. That's new for the Mybrary, right?
Yes. The room might have been used for it, but we've never partnered and never done an official blood drive before. So we partnered with Vitalent on this, and they came to Elko. We had 3 days over the summer of blood draws. And we were able to, the community, I should say, donated. We had 75 donations, and they donated over 100 units of blood.
Wow.
And that exceeded what we had promised our local hospital. And according to Vitalent, I don't pretend to understand how blood units and donations work, but those that did participate saved 300 lives.
Wow.
So
That's huge.
It is huge, especially in the summer. I guess blood donations drop in the summer nationally, and so they're always struggling to find that blood. And we are so thankful for our community coming out and helping us make those goals and those promises and everything a success.
Yeah, thanks again, everybody who participated in those blood drives, and NNRH has got to be just over the moon happy with that.
Yes.
So that's great. Another great collaboration and partnership. And moving forward, it looks like you have some cool opportunities. Oh, we should mention, though, for folks who may have missed the Mybrary Mobile, you do have a new driver coming on.
Yes, we did hire our new driver. His name's Shane Hepworth, and he is starting next week. So we'll make sure to get him trained up super fast and on the road for everyone, because I know everyone's missing the Mybrary Mobile. We're hoping to start the routes hopefully the beginning of October, at the latest mid-October.
Cool. And they'll go out to their normal locations, a variety of places. I mean, just putting on, I can't remember the miles, but just an incredible number of miles, that outreach that you do. Yeah.
Yeah. In a normal year, it's over 20,000 miles on the bookmobile. So
wow.
It's a long route. At one point, we had the third largest route in the country for a bookmobile. And I mean, if you consider, we go all the way up to the Idaho border and then all the way down past Ely. I mean, we go to the Lehman Caves and some of those like areas that you wouldn't think a bookmobile would stop at, but we go there.
That's fantastic. So if you have any request, if you are someone in a ranching family, or you just live in a beautiful remote area and you have a request for something that the Mybrary can provide, you can get in touch with the local library and then have it taken out there, hopefully, a book or a reference.
Of course, yeah. If there's an item that isn't on the Mybrary mobile that you're wanting, then just place a hold and we'll send it. It's almost like a courier service.
Neat. Yeah, it is today's Pony Express.
Yes.
So there you go.
He does follow the route, so.
Oh, that's cool. That's a wonderful connection.
Yes,
Yeah.
some of the stops are the old Pony Express stops, like Cherry Creek and stuff along the way, so.
Oh, we need to paint a horse on the side of that
We should.
Mybrary mobile. Yeah, that'll be great. So you have some vacancies, though, as we wanted to talk about. And these are really cool opportunities to work with very motivated professionals at Mybrary.
Yes, so we do have some of our part-time positions have come up. So we have the circulation department, which if you come into the library, they're the ones at the front desk that are so great at helping find the books that you're after or issuing those library cards or just being able to answer any question, really. And then on the other hand, maybe you prefer working with the youth. Maybe you're really good with kids programming or you really want to do one of those story times. We also have some part-time positions available in our youth department. And then the one I'm most excited for, but maybe it's just because I'm a nerd, is our reference librarian position is open. And I wanted to let people know that maybe you've looked at it and maybe it looks a little scary because it is considered a professional position in Nevada. But I promise you that reference librarian position is going to be a lot of fun. And maybe you don't have the certifications. That position does require a library certification. We can help you get there. So if you think you can do the job and you just don't have the certifications, don't worry about that. Still apply.
Wow, that's great. ElkoCountyNV.net? Is that where you find the...
Yes. So all county jobs are posted on the official county website.
All right. So you can find details, including the salary range and that kind of thing there? Mm-hmm. Okay.
You can apply everything. It's a one-stop shop.
Wow, great. Just like Mybrary.
Yes.
Super convenient. So if you're interested in any of those positions, do it now. Spread the word, too. Maybe you know of a family that's new in the community. A lot of times people move in for mining, Kassie, and it's great to be able to give them a chance to get involved in the community in this way. Yeah. So.
Yeah, no. Lots of programs, lots of opportunity to share ideas, and we're looking at expanding our volunteer opportunities as well. So chances for patrons to come in and share their love of the library and maybe even just make friends. Maybe they're just trying to get out in the community, meet people. So we're hoping we can facilitate more opportunities to do that.
It's all happening at our Elko County Library, which is located right there at 7th and Court Street or 9th? Yeah, 7th.
7th and
Yes.
Court Street. It's 720.
Yes. 720. Thank you. 720 Court Street. I drive by it every day, a few times a day. So everybody, well, we shouldn't say everybody knows, but most people who've lived here for some time know where the Elko County Library is located. Just wanted to mention, too, that, let's see what else is on there is a brand new kiosk, which you said is getting used, and that's a legal kiosk, right?
Yes. So this is in partnership with the Supreme Court Library, the Nevada Supreme Court Library, and the Nevada Legal Services. It escaped my mind for a moment. And they were looking at ways that they can help our community find legal resources, not necessarily provide legal actual legal information because we're not attorneys, but find resources that you can do your own research or find the paperwork that you need to fill out, because right now it's kind of all over the place. If you've ever had to file something with the courts, you're never sure, do I look at Clark County's files? Do I look at Washoe County's files? Does Elko have their own files for this? It's a little bit hectic. And we've always done our best to help people, but now we have this kiosk where it's all in one spot. You can come in, you can ask to use the kiosk, you can do all of your legal research right there. You can file your legal paperwork right on the kiosk. You can find the forms. You can even attend court hearings. Maybe you have something, hearing that's going to be in Washoe and they'll let you attend by Zoom. We can set the computer up and we have a headset with mic and we can give you as private of a space at the library as we can to attend that hearing through our internet.
Wow, that's fantastic. And, drum roll please, it's all free of charge.
All 100% free.
And everything we've been talking about today. And again, thanks to many sponsors and collaborations in the community, Mybrary is a wonderful outreach partner. These are services that are provided free because you are an Elko County resident. But, ta-da, something else you're working on, right? The library board is considering.
So we are looking at creating our first ever non-resident library cards. For those, again, who maybe don't realize, we used to be partnered with Lander County. They have taken over their own libraries, but right now they're sort of still their own centralized system. They do not have a reciprocal agreement with any other library in the state, meaning that some of their patrons or community members don't actually have access to all the library resources you can get through us. It's unfortunate, and we feel bad because sometimes we do have Lander residents that come into the Elko Mybrary asking to get library cards, and we have to turn them away according to our current policies because they don't live in Elko County. So the library board met back in June, and we discussed different options and different policy changes that we could make that not just for non-residents, but for the community on a whole. How can we make using the library easier? How can we make access to resources better? And that was one of the options that came up. So I'm currently working with staff. We're coming up with a framework on how these cards could work and what would be required to get one. Trying to find that balance of making sure everyone has access to the library, but still being fair to our current taxpayers.
Oh, that's a great, and this is going to be in discussion. It is ongoing. It's not decided yet, right? So the community can participate.
Yes, it hasn't been decided yet. It will most likely be on a few agendas coming up. So if you're interested in providing feedback, if you have concerns or questions or maybe new ideas we haven't thought of, please come to a board meeting. They would love to have someone in the audience, and they're always happy to talk with anyone. And we meet the third Tuesday of every month at 4 o'clock in the library meeting room here in Elko. And it's just like a commission meeting. If you've been to one of those, you sit in the audience and there's always a moment for public comment. And they're real great about working with anyone that shows up.
Yeah, the president is Leaguer, right? Still? Or
Nope.
Did she change?
No, it's actually Tammy Dickinson.
It is Tammy. She moved up.
Yes.
Congratulations, Madam President. So Tammy Craycraft Dickinson is now president. And I'm sure Lee's still on the board?
Lee is still on the
Yes.
board, yes.
Oh, good. And I have Jenny Eckert.
Jenny Eckert, Eric Walsh, and Robbie Nickel, who will be our upcoming president in January.
Oh, congratulations, Robbie. You are the vice president, I take it then.
Yes.
So, yes. Well, that's great. And then several trustee emeritus members who are beloved in the community for all of the work that they've done, again, to make sure our Mybrary is marching into the future and that citizens are included and involved. There's lots of opportunity going forward. Those meetings, again, are the third Tuesday of every month. And you did say in the Mybrary conference room?
So it's in the Mybrary conference room. If you can't come in person, we have added a Zoom feature. It's on the agenda, which you can always find on our website, exploremybrary.org. There is a library board tab that has every current agenda on there, or you can contact the Mybrary and we can get it to you. So you can participate in Zoom, and we'll still make sure that there's public comment, that you still have a chance to participate fully in the meeting.
That's great. City and county meetings are online. I know that it makes it nice for people like me, even reporting news. If you have a long day, you can get in your comfy clothes and have your cat on your lap and watch a meeting, or even participate, as you said, in Zoom. So that's nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and it's helped, I think, overall, even with board members who maybe can't make it in because they're traveling for other things. So making sure we still have that full board who are so invested in our library, and they have so many good ideas, and they really care about our community. So I assure you that you coming to a meeting would make their day.
Oh, that's great. So please do follow along Elko County Mybrary. You can go online at Mybrary. Did you say com or org?
Exploremybrary.org.
Exploremybrary.org. And you can also stop by there at 720 Court Street, 775-738-3066. And you get a live person on the phone.
Yes.
Yes, which is also nice too. Big bonus. Well, I think the last thing that we want to talk about, and this is something where listeners, you can help. If you know a county commissioner, we need to make sure that our important resource is protected going forward. We've been talking a lot here on this radio show with our commissioners about their capital plans for our buildings and our amenities and the Justice Center. And the Mybrary is kind of on the fringe of it, but the Mybrary really needs a new roof, Kassie, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but patrons have noticed it does leak when it rains.
It does. So there are plans in the work to get it fixed. Unfortunately, it requires that the roof be dry for a week, and we just haven't had a dry week in the last month or so. But if you have been in the Elko Mybrary, you will have noticed there's some sections that are cordoned off, and there's tarps and buckets on the floor, and it's not very pretty. And we had a day where it just poured, like the street flooded outside, the building started flooding inside. We were changing buckets as fast as we could. And patrons, I felt so bad. We were having to move them and what they're reading and their equipment, their computers. And we're like, we're sorry, that this is happening because this is your building and it's just kind of falling apart. So hopefully, we have some people that are supposed to come in and put some Flex Seal on the building, and they're going to replace the gutters. Hopefully that does it. We'll see. This roof is fairly old, and I don't know how many other problems it has. I will admit I haven't climbed up there to see.
I don't think as library director that is in your purview if you want to, but I don't think you should have to, Kassie. So, just from this perspective of hosting this radio show for a long time, and we have a lot of city and county folks, and they come in and they talk about the woes of these old buildings, all we have to do is recall the city swimming pool right now, and we're in dire straits. That building is over 50 years old. I don't know how old the library is, the building itself, but it's got to be older than 30.
It's over 50 years old. It officially opened in 1974, and I believe it existed before that as another entity.
Okay, and you're right, because there were citizens who started, I believe, our library. With support from the county, but yes. Obviously, yes. So,
and our current building was donated by a church, so I believe that it might have been a church before, because it had some little pulpit areas that have been filled in over the years. You'll have to come see. We do have pictures of it where they would do story times and these little pulpits in the floor. So.
Oh, I did not know that. I guess I thought that was an original building, maybe on a church site, but how? Okay, so that's interesting. So it is time to start talking about including Mybrary plans for capital improvement in our discussions about funding just as a community, because we still need bricks and mortar. We need to have this physical place, Kassie. This is not something you're asking me to talk about, but as a community, it's really something, especially when we have water pouring down the walls, damaging collections, pushing out patrons.
Yes, no, yeah. It's not pretty, and it's just getting worse. We have our own, we call it a waterfall. We've joked about just creating a water feature.
A water feature there, right. Doesn't go well with books and electronics, though, as you said.
Not really.
So there's friends groups, there's the Mybrary Board of Trustees, which I'm sure that they could be entrusted with carrying a message from the community. But if you do care about Mybrary and you don't want to see it in the situation, hey, maybe with the water problem, you could turn it into a second swimming pool, but that's also not a good idea. But we need to start seriously considering and putting some definite thought into replacing Mybrary, along with building the new Justice Center and the other capital projects, the jail expansion. I know it's a lot, but the county does have some funding now that they're lining out for these projects. So.
No, and it is important, not just because the building is older and doesn't need repairs and maintenance, and some of the electrical was put in the 70s and hasn't really been changed since then. So we had to laugh. We had someone to come in and look at some light switches, and they thought it was brand new technology they'd never seen before because it was actually so old they'd never seen it before.
Oh my goodness.
So I think it is time to look at that. And we've worked with the county a little bit, especially with the Justice Center, the talks happening there, because it's going to be right across the street from the Mybrary. So we have concerns, and we want to make sure that the community is taken care of, and that whatever happens going forward, it doesn't severely impact the library as well. So any support from the community would be much appreciated.
Right. So you know who to reach out to. County commissioners, certainly John Carr and Delmo Andriozzi come on this program regularly, and they love to hear from the community. So if you'd like to make sure that Mybrary, the Elko County Library location at 720 Court Street, is included in those capital plans, keep talking about that, because even we're looking at planning, it could be be 10 years or more before we actually see physical improvements, Kassie. And certainly, you could still be our director of our library by that time, but it takes a long time to get these projects done.
It does, and it's better to get on now and not wait 10 years, get on the plan there, and then wait another 10 years for anything to happen. And I try and tell everyone, nothing in government happens fast. So if you want it to happen, you got to start now.
So thank you for advocating and coming on the radio, and then we can remind everybody of our opportunity to get in on the ground floor and help planning for the future of Elko County Mybrary through our Elko County commissioners and friends, donors. Look at Great Basin Child Advocacy Center that was built from the ground up. So there's got to be a lot of support. We just have to let people know about it. So.
Exactly.
All right. Anything else today?
No, just I'm always thankful for our community and for you for having me on the show today and being able to talk about all of this.
Well, we appreciate so much our Elko County Library and all the hard work of the staff and everything that you're doing to improve the lives of citizens far and wide with access and information, education, and bringing all of it free of charge. Thank you so much, Kassie.
Thank you.
Thank you, listeners, for joining us for Elko Live today.